Right, so I'm here with Matt now. Okay, right. The first half ended 0-0. The second half is about to start. But before we get to the second half, Matt, I want your view on the first half.
Yeah, I thought America started really strongly, pressing them very high, and I think that's caused England to be a little bit cagey, a little bit nervous. They're passing it quite negative approach, I think, maybe from Southgate. They're passing it a very side to side, not a lot going forward. There was a little bit more towards the end of the half, maybe as the USA started to tire a little bit. And I think as the game goes on, England are going to find more openings. But USA had some really good chances in that half.
Okay, well, look, two questions. Do you think that Southgate will be content with a draw? And what's your prediction for the second half?
Well, I think a draw does work in a way. It's going to be a tough game against Wales because Wales are going to come and have a go, aren't they? Because they need to. And so I would say this is really a good opportunity. If you win the group now, today, or certainly qualified today, you give some other players. I know that some of them got a chance against Iran. You give some other players a chance to get some minutes in the game against Wales as well. So I think he is trying to win it, but I think he's being cagey the first half.
Okay, so what do you think? What's your prediction for the second half?
Well, it started now, so I'm going to say I think there's going to be a goal at least. But I think then maybe 2-1 to England, perhaps 1-1.
Thanks a lot. Listen, call me Becca. Becca. Right, now Becca's here, and Becca's from the US of A. She's Texas. Hold on a second, Becca. Let me move this down a bit so we can see you, love. All right, I'll sit on here so I'm at your same level. Okay. Now, Becca, what do you think of the USA's performance up until now?
I'm very happy with how this game is going. We've had the possession more, I think, than England has. We've made twice as many goal attempts, and if we're attempting on your goal, you're not attempting on our goal. So I'm happy with that. So far, so good.
I think the USA have played quite well up until now. I think you've had a better first half than us, yeah?
I do think that you guys came out underestimating us like I predicted, but now after halftime, I think it's going to be a little different, so we'll have to step it up because you guys are going to step it up.
And what do you think the score's going to be?
Right now, I think 1-1.
You think it'll be a draw?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I think the USA have definitely got goal in them, yeah?
Yep.
I think if the game is tight, and I think you're right. I think we did underestimate you, and I think we are playing for a draw. I actually had us to win 3-1 or 3-2, 4-1 or 4-2.
Mm-hmm. And I said bollocks.
Yeah, she did actually say that. Okay, there you have it from me and Becca.
USA.
You know what? That's a good question, and maybe Pulisic. I thought he had a good game for the US of A. Maybe Timothy Weah, who I think is a very good player. Okay, ex-Celtic. But if you look at it, if you look at the transfer market, if you look at how much our players would be worth on the transfer market compared to that of the USA, I mean, I can't even imagine the gap, okay? So, you look at the talent, you look at the are we living off our name? Are our players just a little bit, what's the word for it? Did they underestimate the US of A? Because I think that could play into it. Because to be totally honest, when you looked at the game today, I thought the US of A played better than us.
I think absolutely, and that shows that they're better drilled. They've got an approach which was very successful actually, and they're pushing them back and back and back. Everything was sideways from England today, very very sideways, and they couldn't transition from defence to midfield to attack very easily. All credit to USA for doing that, and that's down to athleticism and will, power and strategy. And I think that's what England lack in a way. It's more easy to do that defensively minded than it is attacking minded. I agree, but with the talent that England have got, I think we're a bit complacent maybe in terms of we just expect that these players are just going to produce some some sort of like a performance on their own, and that's a goal.
They should do. They should be producing a performance against US of A.
But is it the manager's responsibility to get them into the position where they can do that?
Absolutely.
Today, has it? That's not happened.
Absolutely. Yeah, but we've spoken about Southgate before, yeah? We've spoken about him, and I don't know whether it was his tactics, whether he turned around and said, a draw will do for us, okay, right? Is he worried about injuries? Is he worried about yellow cards? I haven't got a clue. It doesn't really matter. You're on the world stage, okay? We're playing the World Cup. Go out there and win, because you don't want to come in second. You don't want to do that. Now, our next game is against Wales, and we should be annihilating Wales as well. Now, you can call it a derby or derby, or however you want to pronounce it. Wales are going to be playing for pride more than anything else, I think, yeah? And against England, will they raise their game? I think they will. We should beat them, but if we can't beat US of A, can we beat Wales?
Well, I think that's a good question. I mean, Wales have underperformed by their high standards in terms of what they've done in the last few tournaments, in Euros and qualification, where they've been really good and they've worked together as a team. I think Wales will be disappointed with what they've done so far in this World Cup. And they'll go into that England game wanting to put in a performance. Now, Southgate's probably looked at this via the world rankings, and Wales are ranked one place below the USA, so that's the easier game. I mean, that's not how it works, is it? I mean, that's not how football works. He just seems like he's a bit of a statistician. He's obsessed by the stats, but not actually about the passion of the game. And I think really that's what he's lacking with England at the moment. We need a bit of passion. We need a bit of belief. I often wonder what would Kevin Keegan have done with these sort of players, or a more flair style manager.
Absolutely. I quite agree with you. I think that Southgate, and he proved it in the Euros, we've discussed this, we've spoken about it, and we slagged off Southgate, okay, for the performance of England in the final against the oldest, okay, defence in the tournament. 1-0 up, okay, right, we should have gone for the throat. We should have won. We should have attacked them. And what happened? Harry Kane was playing in our half. And if you saw today again, Harry Kane was in defence. Harry Kane was in defence. And I mean, he didn't have a bad game. But
and it's the USA, mate.
Exactly.
And no disrespect for them, but let's face it, they're not tournament favourites. They're not even in the top 8 of tournament favourites. We should be playing much more aggressively against them than we did today.
All right. Well, look. Let's get to the point. Okay. Right. I think we're going to obviously qualify, but my worry is when we play against the better teams, the France, the Spains, the Brazils. Okay. These teams, and to be totally honest, at the moment, I'm worried about Japan and Saudi Arabia. Surprise, surprise. Let's see how Saudi Arabia do in the next game. Let's see how Japan do in the next game. Is it just a flash in the pan? I don't think so. I watched the Saudi Arabia team play their first game, and they were really, really good. They impressed me, as did Japan. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's been a few impressive performances, actually. I mean, we said we were going to talk about this as well a little bit. Some of the maybe teams that are just looking to get out of the group and not to win the World Cup. And I think, Japan definitely what a result for them against Germany. I think that is actually the outstanding result. I know Saudi Arabia shot Argentina, but, Japan beating Germany puts them in a really strong position to qualify from that group. Saudi Arabia have got 2 more tough games. But Japan could actually end up knocking Germany out of this World Cup by that one game if they get a good result against Costa Rica. So, yeah, I think that is one of the outstanding performances. I must say also Canada against Belgium completely dominated the game.
Absolutely.
But, like the USA today, couldn't finish.
Well, look, I agree with you. I think Canada finished top of their group, in the CONCACAF, and hence why they're in the World Cup. I don't know, though. I don't know. There have been some surprises. This shouldn't have been a surprise for us. Am I confident? in England going all the way. On that performance, absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, we talked before. I mean, we both said it before. Sometimes teams grow into a tournament. Certainly, England did grow into the Euros last time out as well. And actually, if you look at previous World Cup winners, Germany didn't have a great start in 2014. But that's that. When you start looking at things like that, I think you're clutching at straws. You really want to see a team that has an idea of the levels they're expected in their performance, some way of playing a style of football. And I just don't see the style that England play. I don't see what they're trying to achieve by the way that they're passing the ball sideways and backwards in defence. I mean, City do that. I'm a City fan, but there's a reason why they do that, and that's to bring on the opposition so then they can play the ball into midfield, distribute it wide or distribute it down the middle, mostly wide. But when you play with two defensive midfielders and they're coming back to protect your defence because you don't trust your defence, you're just completely compressed and you're not even in midfield. You're really just a high defence, and that is England's problem at the moment. They're just too negatively structured to get the ball into the players that are going to make the difference for England in this World Cup.
Okay, that said, what do you think of our chances?
I think we're going to end up in France's path because actually, I was also going to say the teams that have impressed me in the opening round of games, France did look pretty good, and Mbappe was on form, massive form, and he is a superstar. Richarlison for Brazil was very good as well. Neymar went off, and actually when he went off, I think Brazil looked better. So, we've got some of these teams that are looking pretty shit hot at the moment. And England looked great against a very weak team like Iran, but today looked very average.
All right, well, listen, there you have it. It's Matt's thoughts. Okay, my thoughts are okay with Matt. Let's see what happens. Let's on to the Wales game. Are you going to be here?
Yeah, it's Tuesday, isn't it? Tuesday. Well, we've got to watch it. I mean, it's school night, but it's a school night, but I might book Wednesday off.
All right. So we'll be back here for the game, yeah? I'm now going to look for a USA support and interview them.